you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How about you?
I am doing my
Got better whiskey.
yeah, my peanut butter whiskey too. And people are going to think that we're drunk when we do this, but we're not. But what we are talking about is
We did take a little break, but it wasn't just a drink.
but we may drink afterwards. But
No, we may.
the thing is talking about when you have a need for something and the difference between need and codependency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Because
big difference.
there's a big difference. Codependency is when you need something and you will go anywhere to get that something to try to fill that space, that need.
That never gets filled.
It never gets filled because the truth is, one, either it's a need that you have to fill yourself anyway, in with, or it's a need that you already know where you have to get it filled at and you're not. And so you're out there trying to fill it in other places and you know that's not going to happen anyway. So it's dysfunctional. That's codependency.
Exactly.
And I don't even like the word codependency because dependency isn't a bad thing, because dependency just means that me by myself, I'm okay, and you by yourself, you're okay. But there is something that we need to do, and if we do it together, we can do it better. So we're dependent on each other to do it better. So yes, being codependent to me is not a bad thing, and I think that the psychological world, that world, hijacked that term.
There's a codependence that is healthy.
Absolutely.
There's an unhealthy codependence,
which is the term that everybody is aware of.
Right.
But what about when you know what you need?
Yeah.
And you know that that need is not going to be met anywhere except in one place. What should we do then? What is the not codependent thing to do?
Look within.
Look within.
That's where I would go.
That is the first thing, of course, because most needs we can meet from within.
And know that if there is that person or place that you can't get that need met at the moment, there is going to be a time. Now, it might not be on your time because you think you need it right now, correct?
Yeah, we do have that. We do have that thing about, but I want it now.
But I want it now. So what if you honored, and let's just talk about people for the moment.
Sure.
Okay.
So I think you're going to mutual respect here, aren't you?
What if you respected that other person, whatever was happening with them at the moment, that they didn't or couldn't drop everything and meet your need? What if you kind of turned that around and you thought about meeting their need as well as yours?
Wow.
Honoring.
Wow. You mean, how about it's, well, I think that kind of turns into, what is it? How do I want to be treated? Okay, I'm going to treat myself that way. And then I'm going to put that energy out there. Hold on, the way I want to be treated is when I have a need, I want it met. But if I can't meet someone's need, I want them to respect that. So if that's first how I treat myself, and then that's the energy I put out. Oh, I think you're talking about mutual respect and true self-care.
I think we're right.
And I think that's energy management.
I think it is. And let's just go a little step further. That we know. I know that's so not like us. So when we put that energy out, what do we get back?
We get back what we put out, or better.
Or better.
You're only going to get the frequency you're putting out or higher.
Right.
Lower.
So
unless you're targeted by someone who's mirroring you.
Yes.
We have got to be consciously aware that those people are out there. But go ahead.
That's true. But if you're working in a relationship, if you're in a relationship and
we're always in relationship.
And we're always in relationship. That's right.
Yeah.
But with a particular person, let's say.
Sure.
Okay. And you put out the negative part of what your need is. What do you think is going to come back to you?
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to come back with dense energy. You put out dense energy, you're going to get dense energy back. You put
You're
out
gonna-
expectation, you're going to get expectation back.
That's
You put out
right.
understanding, you get understanding back. You put out positive, you get positive back. So there isn't anything wrong with identifying the fact that you have a need. That doesn't make you codependent. We have needs.
You do have needs.
Yeah.
And needs need to be met.
Yeah, that doesn't make you codependent because you have a need. That's a falsity that is out there, I think. That is a false overarching statement that, oh, I can't need, because if I'm needy, that's codependent. There's a difference between needy and being consciously aware
Of what you need.
of what you need. And understanding that just because I need it doesn't mean I can expect it. But we don't get it unless we voice that we need it, unless
True.
we speak up and use our voice.
And voice it in that positive way, not the pity, not the victim, not the
Or you owe it to me, or
right. Now,
manipulative
again,
way. Yeah.
dents will draw dents, so that works for those people.
Yeah. If you
But-
are manipulative and that is how you handle people, or passive aggressive with people,
Right.
or any of those things, that's the people you're going to attract into your life, and that's how they're going to deal with you.
But if you're higher vibrational, or you're working with someone higher vibrational, number one, you probably really want to be aware of that. Because number two, if you put out that dense energy, you're not going to get that back.
No, because they're going to hold their frequency.
Yes,
And
they are.
you're either going to have to bring your frequency, and let's not say up to, you're going to bring it over to where they're at, because it may not be up, it maybe just be over. You know, it's not
Could be,
not
yeah.
go high or low. We can just say it's a different frequency.
It's a different.
It's a different one. So when somebody knows who they are and they're being authentic and they're holding their frequency, and they don't let the fact that you're trying to jerk their chain, you know, because that's what manipulation is, or expectation
Yes.
is, or pity, or pitying me, or woe is me, or I'm not getting my way, or any of those things. That's what all that is. It's trying to get somebody else to do what you want them to do, instead of you just holding your frequency and standing in your personal self-respect. You know, just because they've got something else going on, or just because they choose not to, that's not about you, that they chose not to. Even if it is a quote unquote rejection of you is always protection of you. Because if somebody rejects you, they're not in alignment with you anyway, and you don't want to commingle your energies, whether it's on an intimate level, or it's on a work level, or it's a whatever level. You don't want to commingle your energy with someone that's non-resonant. So if they
Very good point.
if they are rejecting you, that is protection. And therefore, if I stay in my vibration and I hold my vibration, I hold my frequency, I get this, my frequency, and that just rejected me. So I'm being protected. That means I get better.
But let's think about too. Not every no
Right.
is a rejection.
Not every no is rejection. And you know what? If the energy we put back is, damn, I was just rejected, then it becomes a rejection. If we perceive it as such, it is such, no matter what it was.
That's very true.
If we choose to perceive it as a rejection, that's an assumption.
Yeah.
And you just turned it into something it wasn't. So one, don't do that.
And what is that? One of the 4 agreements. Never make assumptions.
Right, never assume. I want to communicate to the point of no assumption. And they're like, why are you repeating this back to me? Why are you getting back to me? Why are you because I want to be sure that we're talking apples and apples, not apples and oranges. I want to be sure that you said apple and I heard apple, that I didn't hear orange. And and if I don't say it back to you,
Said apple. Yeah.
Yeah, if I don't say it back to you, how do I know? Yeah. And so that is true communication. But you're right, not every no or not now is a rejection. So what is it?
Not now or
or this doesn't work, or,
this doesn't work. I mean, it could be a bazillion things.
but it's not necessarily rejection.
Yeah.
You know,
But
why do we feel like if somebody's energy doesn't match with ours, we are being rejected? We're programmed to.
yeah, exactly.
We are programmed to feel like I put it out there and it didn't come back the way I wanted. That's rejection.
And that's assumption.
That's assumption. And most things don't come back exactly, even the energy we put out, because not the whole world isn't in vibrational alignment where we're all supposed to be. And so
And
there
even
is,
if you're in vibrational alignment, let's go there.
yeah,
It's what you expect, your anticipated response.
which is why we're not to anticipate. We're just to be open to what comes. Because when we anticipate, we put it in a box. But when we just put out the general, this is what I want. Like if we put out, hey, are you busy? And what comes back is, I've got this going on. Okay. If I had anticipated that it was going to be yes or no, but it wasn't yes or no, it was, I've got this going on. That's not, yes, I'm busy, end of story. That's not, no, I'm not busy, end of story. But that is actually communication. That is, there's energy in that.
I just started to say, and you know, today, both of those situations happened to me.
Yes, I know.
I had similar, I had
No.
two different people asking me two different things. I answered very similarly. And one was, you know,
Yeah, nothing.
but one was okay, no worries kind of thing. And the other one was was a pity party.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
a manipulation kind of thing. And I'm just like, yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you for that, kind of that description, because that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Which is why we're on this subject, right?
Right. Well, it's because reality is what we choose. People don't want to say that because that makes it sound like we're talking mumbo jumbo or whatever. But the truth of the matter is everything is energy, and the energy we put into things is what creates things. And so if we choose to create chaos, if that's the energy we put out, then by golly, we get chaos. But if we choose to put energy that is authentic to us, and that we're holding the vibrational frequency of, and that is consistently us, even though we change and things flow, we do get some sort of order. We do get some sort of logic. We do get some sort of reason from it. Even though it's energy in motion, it's emotion. It's not all emotion, because it's also sound waves and light waves. And there's all kinds of energy out there other than the emotional.
Right.
Protons, electrons, neutrons, those are scientific things that exist. Those are not necessarily all just emotions. And so there is science to all of this. It is not all about so when we say we create our reality, we do create our reality. If we choose that things are impossible to do, then they are impossible to do, because we've already decided. If we choose that somebody's answer to us is going to be, unless it is this, it is going to be devastating to me, then unless it is that, it is going to be devastating to you. If you make that box to begin with, then that is all you can have. But when you put out, this is what I would like, then the universe gives you this or better. So if they didn't give you the answer you would like, the universe is watching. You've put the energy out. I needed something to do, or I needed this to go this way. And the universe knows that, but you didn't put it in a box and say, and if it doesn't go this way, I'm going to be devastated or whatever. So the universe is like, okay, but she said this or better. So it didn't go that way because this one had that going and that had this going and this had this going. And it's just how it is, but we can give her better.
And I just want to go back to that word choice.
Choice.
Because the thing is, everything we do is a choice. Every single thing we do is a choice. And we can either choose to go down this path, or we can choose to go down that path, or we can choose to go down the middle and straddle the fence.
Which is never comfortable.
And be wobbly. Yeah. And it's never comfortable.
That's never comfortable.
It's never comfortable.
We do have to make a choice, because riding the fence is always going to be painful. That's always going to be chaotic.
I'm just saying, in
Yeah.
more than one way sometimes.
More than one way. And the fact of the matter is, while we both know that as one, in oneness, we created this tapestry before we ever got here, and we agreed to it. And out of mutual respect, we're all to be in our vibrational frequency, each getting our heaven on earth, so everybody gets it. At the same time, and that is our free will. We in free will chose that. At the same time, every day we have the choice or the personal responsibility as to whether or not we step into that frequency and do it or not.
Right.
And that is that choice that we're making, the selfishness and the lack of self-care, the personal disservice to self, is when we don't step into the frequency which gives us what it is we really want.
And what we came here to do.
And what we came here to do. So back to when needing something, though, is not codependency. It's not codependent to need something and identify that need and state what that need is, and then put it out there and say, I would like to have this. I need this. This would be a good thing for me. Because although we can meet our own needs, the truth of the matter is we did come here to be in relationship.
Yes.
And so it's always going to be exponential when we identify a need that, wow, but I can meet that with someone else. We identify who that right resonant energy is, the job, because while we may work alone, there are aspects of the job that we need, and that it goes exponentially better when we're in relationship and do that.
Right.
Same with personal relationships. We have to be able to stand on our own and be okay by ourselves, et cetera, but also there is that part of our lives, and it can be many different things. Intimacy is lots of things that requires intimacy with other people. And so when we can say, I need that intimacy, and we reach out for that, we identify that, that is not codependency. That is personal responsibility. That is true self-care, what our needs are. And we state what they are, and we stand in that energy. All we're doing is we're saying, what do I need? What do I want? What do I want to feel? What do I want to be? What do I want to experience? Okay, I'm going to treat myself that way. Okay, I've treated myself that way. Now I'm putting the energy out there.
You're honoring self.
You're honoring self. And when you put the energy out and you do it without manipulation or expectation, and you accept what comes back with dignity and with grace, and then it's, okay, I've accepted this, the universe will give you better, because the energy you put out is not going to come back void ever.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't come back the way you had anticipated, because again, anticipation is a box, so don't put it in a box. You have what you identified, what you in your capacity thought or identified, but you're open to the flow of things, and the universe is like, okay, it can't be that way, but there's this or better. And so what it's really about is identifying that, yes, we have needs. Codependency is when our needs are, I didn't get my need met, so I'm going to go here and get it. Or I'm going to go there and get it. It's like a little kid that, well, I want this. And no, we need to wait until tomorrow. No, I can't wait until tomorrow. Well, but that's not going to be available until tomorrow. Well, then give me. And so you give them everything in the house, but it doesn't meet the
Doesn't satisfy.
It doesn't satisfy them, because what they want isn't available until tomorrow, or it's only available at someplace else, or they really wanted to play with this friend, but this friend isn't available. So you bring every other friend, but that's not the friend they really wanted, et cetera, et cetera. That's codependency, is when we try to fill a space that only one thing can fill. We try to fill it with everything else. And we're trying to fill it, when instead we just open up to putting the vibrational frequency out. And if what we anticipate, what we think, what we in our energy understand the need to be isn't met, the universe will bring this or better. And sometimes this or better is immediate, like you and I get to hang out today, and that's, but it can also be down the line at another point in time, that very thing, the very way you wanted it, that's what you get. It's just not now, it's later. It's wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not now, it's later. Wow, that means patience.
What's that?
Yeah, you kind of have to be grounded to have those.
Arkansas riverbed sand.
Authentic and
Authentic
purified.
and purified.
So how would you wrap all this
Just
up?
from my own experience today.
And many lifetimes.
And many lifetimes. Having actually both of those, I can tell you what feels a whole lot better. And that is when someone honors you as well.
Mutual respect.
Mutual respect, mutual consideration, and not really building that box of expectation and then being disappointed when it doesn't come back that way.
So energy for energy.
Energy for energy.
Positive energy loops.
Positive energy. And also both sides being aware, really, of the energy of others. And that can only go so far because a lot of people are not aware of energy. And those of us who are more aware are sometimes in relationships with people who aren't as aware, right?
So we have to accept that people are just consciously aware of what they're consciously aware of. And
That's
again, doctors and lawyers, both brilliant people, highly educated, et cetera, consciously aware of two different sets of information. So conscious awareness is not one is better, brighter, smarter, bigger, taller, none of that stuff. It's just you are consciously aware of different things. That's it.
And we always have to be full of grace.
Yeah.
In responding, in working with energies.
Because that's what we want for ourselves. There
Yeah.
is a person out there who wants, you know, if I'm not the way somebody wants me to be, I want them to be an asshole to me. There's nobody out there who's like that.
No.
I mean, that's just not. So why in the world do we think that when somebody isn't the way we want them to be, that our response is supposed to be asshole back? I mean, that's not how it works, because then we spiral down into the energy of let's out asshole each other. I mean, that's what we do. And I mean,
that's a new dictionary term, out ass.
my picture's next to it. Yeah, it's next to several.
Hey.
Seriously, that is what we do. Historically, that is what we've done. We have spiraled down with so many things when that is not the goal. The goal is, and the difference between having a need and being codependent is, are you going to spiral down about it, or are you going to spiral up about it?
Yeah.
Are you needy, or have you communicated a need? Are you going to be okay if it doesn't go the way you want because you're going to stand in your vibrational frequency, or are you going to spiral downward?
Yeah.
Or even going to go upward because it didn't go the way you want, because you know that the universe has got this or better for you. And better may mean something else, or it may mean that same thing, just at a different time. And the different time means it's really going to be even better then, because the timing is better later. And you can't see that, because when you're integrated, the rest of you and the rest of that person or that entity, that place, that what job, whatever it is, it can see that there's a better time.
Yeah.
So it's got to do with understanding how energy works and trusting that.
And trusting that those energies are going to be aligned at the proper time and place.
Right, because.
And not necessarily when you want it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because when we are in our when we are in our frequency.
Yeah.
This is, if we truly believe that this is true, if we truly believe this, if we're in our frequency and we're putting out the energy, whatever it is we are supposed to have, and by supposed to, I mean what is going to be in alignment with us. Because granted, while there is a story that we all wrote together, we have acknowledged that everyone has a choice and they can not get into the frequency of it. Although the more we get into the frequency, the more everyone is going to get into the frequency. But if we truly understand that as long as we're standing in our frequency and we're putting out the energy we're supposed to, energy that is in alignment with us, and therefore that is going to make us happy, healthy, whole, and complete, is going to align with us. And so we can state what our needs are, and they may not get met the way we thought when we stated them. But if we stand in our frequency and we behave the way we want to be treated, if that's the energy we put back out, if the response is, how would I want to be treated? How would I want to be treated? I'm going to treat myself that way first, and then that's the response I'm going to put out. If we stay in our frequency, we will get the best and highest good for us.
And so it just dawned on me, another way to say that, I think, is even if you have a need and the energy behind that is not in congruence with the need, that's the energy you're going to get back.
Yeah.
And it goes back to that word, I think, manipulation.
Absolutely.
So be sure, whatever it is you feel the need for, or you want, use whatever terminology you want. Be sure that your energy is in right alignment with that, in flow with that, and not crosswise of it.
Be sure, in other words, then, that what you're saying, that your ego hasn't gotten involved and taken over and kept you from being integrated. And by ego is not a bad thing, because ego is what gives us our self, keeps us safe and all that. So we don't want to kill the ego or push the ego aside or any of that. We want to integrate it. So what gets us crossways, though, is when the ego cuts us off from all of ourselves. So when we are in flow with all of ourselves, then that is when we are in true alignment. And then we do know what we need.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with knowing what you need and saying what you need, and that doesn't make you codependent. There's two different things entirely. Okay.
Right.
All right. Thank you so much, Pam. It has been a joy, and I am so glad that that we needed to celebrate. And
Me
so
too.
here's to our need to celebrate, and to our friend Scott, to our friend Chad, and to all of you out there for listening. There's nothing wrong with knowing what you need. There's nothing wrong with saying what you need. The problem is when we are not authentic and we don't hold our frequency, and when we try to fill needs with everything else,
or we try to manipulate.
And we try to manipulate.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Just be real and hold your frequency, and then you will have what it is you're supposed to have.
Amen. Amen, sister.
Amen, sister. You go run your errands. Bye, y'all.
I will. Love you. See you later.
Bye.
It's not over today.